After creating our first relationship, it's time to create another one. So we have established a connection between the dim age group table and the fact population table. If we go back to report view now and say we don't want to see the population by the categories but by countries, we could simply change that. To do this, we simply unselect the category right here. And now we have the initial chart that we already know. And if you now click onto the arrow next to the dim region table, and now simply drag the, let's say, region name to the legend right here, then you get an error again. But I think you know why we have that error right now, because we have to establish the relationship again. Now, let's do this again by going back to relationship view. And this time we will do it another way. We will use the Manage Relationships button up here in the home ribbon. Let's click that. And here you can see that you have an overview of the existing relationships, and you have those four options. You can create a new relationship, which is what we want to do. You can auto-detect relationships. You remember we unselected that auto-detection in the options in the beginning of this course. We can edit existing relationships, and we can delete relationships. Now, in our case, we want to create a new relationship. So let's do this by pressing New. And now we have to select the tables that we want to connect. In our case, this is the fact population table and the dim region table. And what we want to connect, well, this is the country ID and the country ID. So this is already correct right here. And as we already learned, we can select the columns that we want to relate by clicking them. But of course, you can only relate the columns that have the same IDs. Otherwise, you might get wrong results, as we had it before when we related the age group ID with the country ID. However, as we got this, and as we will ignore that part for the moment, we can simply press OK right now. And we can see that we established a second relationship between the fact population table again and now the dim region table. If we close that, we can again see that the relationship was established. And if you now go back to our report view, you can see that we have a beautiful chart which shows us the development of the population for the different regions. And for instance, if you go right here, you can see that the biggest region is and will be Asia, but that, for instance, Africa is expected to grow a lot in the next years. Now, with that information, we now created our first relationships, and we have a basic understanding of how we can create those relationships. But we saw some more things. That cardinality, that cross-filter direction, and that active properties. What that is and how we can work with it, let's learn that in the next video.